Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome back again to the Kiev Major group stages. We're going to be taking a look at game number 2. It is Team Random facing off against NewBee. I'm Lyrical, going to be joined as well by Blaze as we head into this one, what potentially could be the final game of the Kiev Major group stages for us. I'm feeling pretty sad, and I hope that it does end up going to a game number 3. Not that I'd be a biased caster in any means, but Blaze, Monkey King, and then Rubik Sand King is the answer for NewBee. Things have been changed a little bit. They want to get rid of the Legion Commander, afraid of it, NewBee are.
Yeah, I think that's understandable. I think that we got to see that NewBee was really good at playing around it and making sure that it could kind of accomplish the most. But knowing the first pick coming out from Team Random, they didn't want to have to deal with it. Much more willing to go up against the Monkey King. Instead, we're going to see KP pick up the Sand King for himself, kind of a tried and true pickup for him. He generally wants to bring in some good AoE control and initiation, even trying to do that a bit on the Legion to just set up the fights more than to get the duels. He very clearly just wanted to make good engagements happen, and I feel like the Sand King is even better for that. So we'll have to see if he's able to get off to a good start here. Monkey King can be one of the heroes that make it harder for Sand King to stay on the offlane actively, just because he trades really well, even against Caustic, as long as he stays off the creep wave. And then we have also this Treant Protector who's going to be very involved. So this is pretty interesting. Traditionally, we have seen like this Monkey King for this 4-position melee support that just pokes and prods and roams and ganks, but the Treant Protector fills much the same bill, and to have them both on the same team is actually quite surprising.
Yeah, and it sort of makes me even wonder if maybe it's going to be a throwback to the days when people were running Monkey King in the position 3 role. Like, that might be a possibility. The Medusa also going to be banned out now, but the way that I kind of see the start of this Team Random draft is 2 big AoE team fight ultimates. You've got Overgrowth and you've got Wukong's Command, and if you level them both out together, it's kind of like we are taking over this area and you can't do a whole lot about it.
Almost definitely. It definitely brings a lot of control. I'm just actually pretty interested in how they're going to be able to lane it, specifically against the Sand King. Like, you have now 2 melee supports in my mind, and it's just going to be more difficult for them to really get in his face without taking a lot of collateral damage. Even's opened up a possibility for a NewBee to pick up a support that can kind of dual lane with the Sand King, maybe something like Undying, and really make it difficult to kind of go toe-to-toe with them. We'll have to see. For right now, I think that overall, the Monkey King and the Treant Protector will be really strong in the mid game, but it raises some questions in the early game unless they end up switching the roles on one of those heroes. I mean, I've seen in like a pub setting, Echo Saber Treant Protector actually do a lot in terms of early moments. We're talking about Team Random.
I know,
here, okay?
Exactly. That's what I'm laughing because it's completely true.
They could do whatever they want. We could see an Echo Saber Treant Protector. We could see Monkey King going back to like an off-lane position or even like a mid. Like, there's so much versatility in this team to the point that it's almost unfathomable.
10 seconds remaining.
Well, I am looking forward to whatever they decide to bring, or it could just be a little bit more normal of a draft. We'll see how it ends up going for them. I think that you've got to feel at least a little bit confident for Team Random. Like, at the end, they didn't win the last game, but they probably shouldn't have ever been in a position to win it. So, I don't know. It'll be interesting. I do kind of like the idea of trying to put more emphasis on shutting down U9. He's always somebody that tends to have a good game, I feel like, for NewBee. And if you can disrupt his game, I haven't seen him be able to catch back up in the same way that we've seen SC be a factor in the later game, even when he does get shut down early.
Yeah, so I mean, I definitely think that that's true, that he is a pretty momentum-based carry, but I'm also thinking that contesting that tri lane could be very difficult because we do see Dasher U9 often gets heroes that can fight very early. Like, I mean, maybe he might go something as late game as like a Slark, but in general, he's going to be like a pretty fast-paced hero that is going to be involved really early on. Like, Juggernaut got banned out, fortunately, but there are plenty of other carries that can still contribute enough to the lane to make that shutdown pretty difficult. For now, NewBee's just going to go back to an old pickup here and get themselves the Invoker for SCC, and of course that's going to be looking at like the Exhort combos, either Telekinesis or Bro Strike, great spells to set that up.
Absolutely. And I think that the other thing to notice about this is that it is 2 teams that are just saying, you know, I'm going to team fight. Okay, no, I'm going to team fight. They're not backing down, and it feels like it just wants to be maybe a little bit more of that mid-game run-at-you style. I always do feel like there's a misconception that people have of Invoker and the way that this hero works that, like, maybe it's just in pubs. I think that people that are in pro games realize that he doesn't offer as much to the team fight outside of just Sunstrikes until he gets those other levels up. But in the meantime, Team Random are going to be going for a TA as well. So that's a really good answer for the Invoker.
So I was already going to comment on the fact that right now they don't actually have great answers to living armor in terms of multiple instances of damage. Like we started to see the last Stream Protector went up against like a Batrider and an Ember Spirit, and living armor was almost useless on the heroes. But they don't have that really quite yet. The Sandstorm really doesn't count in most cases. So you look at it, living armor and now refraction. You desperately need lots of instances of damage to be coming out very quickly. From the side of NewBee. They're going to go for the Batrider themselves, and that's going to be put in a very interesting position because naturally KP has been running a lot of Sand King, and they're going to have to make a role swap if they're going to actually make this Batrider the most useful it can be. Yeah,
this feels like it might be either a Faith or a Kaka Batrider instead. That was sort of the Chinese style back in the day, right? Was they ran the position for Batrider. I think it was Zhao Wei that started that off back when he was a part of LFY, and when that team was actually pretty good. Hasn't been seeing the same success since he left it, but it could be something that they go for, and then that's a way to maybe burn through a little bit of refraction charges on TA and give your Invoker a better start in what's, I think the TA versus Invoker matchup, correct me if I'm wrong, is quite hard to deal with.
Yeah, it definitely can be. The Forge Spirit helps out a little bit if you micro it very carefully, but in general you want some help for sure. I do think that there's a possibility that we see a bit of a switch up from Team Random. They go for like a Vengeful Spirit here, and then you end up seeing like a safe lane Monkey King and as a carry, and I think that could work out pretty well. It just really comes down to what they feel most comfortable with in terms of like their early tempo and just overall what their aspirations are for the Monkey King in particular. Because the Stream Protector pretty well relegated to that like roaming support, and he's going to be probably putting in quite a few wards here and there as well. But having a response to the Batrider is a big deal. Abaddon has been popular, but they go for Night Stalker instead. What Night Stalker does offer is a really good silence against some very important spellcasters, all of them, but mostly the Invoker. And of course, the suppression of vision to make it much harder for Batrider to make the jump. So the darkness is going to play a big role here, I think.
Yeah, and I think that it's like the constant answer that you have to these initiating heroes, whether it's a Batrider, whether it's a Magnus, or what have you. If you can shut that down, we saw just how impactful that could be in our earlier series against the Coddle. Granted, this isn't as hard of a counter, but it's still something that could be rough. And the other thing is that Night Stalker, particularly if you get that rotation into mid at level 4, or even, you know, just at that first nighttime at minute 4, you can find kills on Invoker, particularly depending upon what item build or skill build the Invoker went for if he doesn't have any points in Quas or what have you. So I'm curious to see how the warding works out and if NewBee are going to be able to keep that Invoker safe.
Yeah, and that also depends if we're even going to be seeing Night Stalker in the support role, because we have like Monkey King, Trade Protector, Night Stalker all in the same draft. I'd actually prefer to see the Night Stalker in the off lane and see what he can accomplish there. Obviously, he'll need some help early on with somebody like the Trade Protector, but I definitely think there's a lot of potential for the Night Stalker to kind of build himself up. And worst case scenario, he goes into the Iron Talon mode and jungles it up. So Night Stalker off lane used to be a pretty active strategy, and while it definitely seems to be much more commonly seen in the 4 position, I don't see why they couldn't run it in the offlane here.
All right, and Spectre, the last pick for Team Random. I think that for a lot of people that have been watching the pro scene, this hero came out of nowhere. If you watch the pub win rates throughout this patch, though, it's been the highest win rate hero outside of Abaddon across the board, and that says something, because it's a hero that traditionally it's not an incredibly strong laning hero, but the way that it works with being able to get into the fight constantly while still maintaining reactive, and it's just all good stuff. But NewBee has found an answer here with Terrorblade, quite good against Spectre in a lot of ways.
Yeah. So the real question is what Faith Beyond is playing. He hasn't played any of these heroes much at all in the last 3 months competitively, so I think it's going to be the Night Stalker, but you're up against this Terrorblade. You have to be worried about defending your tower early on, so no matter what, you're probably committing a lot early to try to keep that alive. Otherwise, of course, you're going to be looking at a tier 1 gone and a hero without a lane, essentially. But overall, you can't really focus too much on the off lane because your priorities still have to be getting TA and Spectre a lot of farm this game. They're going to be very susceptible to Batrider ganks. He's a great hero for just pouncing on them, following it up with Sunstrike and one other hero. And I think that they most importantly just have to prioritize their 1 and 2 positions over all else.
Yeah, and it's NewBee who want to try and take down those towers very rapidly. It's not a lot of D push coming in from Random, and sure, you can get the Night Stalker Aghanim Scepter up early, but like we saw in that other game, there's a certain factor where if you have that Aghanims, you can maybe see the 5-man push coming, but it doesn't really do anything to stop it either. And Batrider, a great hero at being able to take high ground, as too is Terrorblade. Team Random are going to need to come up with some answers. I would love to see Nature's Prophet, or rather Treant Protector, like hang out in that bottom lane and then maybe just have Night Stalker, Iron Talon jungle. Is that something that could work maybe?
It's hard to say right now as far as how they want it to work. It depends really on if they feel they can actually contest a Terrorblade. They have to back off every time Metamorphosis comes out is, I think, the biggest thing. But again, like, none of these heroes have really been played by Faith Beyond very recently. I think there's one Monkey King game in the past 3 months, but otherwise it's kind of a fresh thing for him. Something that surely he's scrimmed, but something that he's still going to have to kind of make adjustments for. And he is going to be running that Horman Shield Night Stalker, contesting the offlane directly.
All right, and early wards that are going to be placed out now. Monkey King getting the vision all across the map. He's been playing this Monkey King pretty consistently for Team Random. Let's see, longest kill streak. We'll go for a Blink. I believe in him. Most runes picked up by 10 minutes. It's got to be the Monkey King. And highest out of pure damage, 20 minutes. We'll come back to these in a bit. But yeah, early movements out. And it looks like he's just going to scout out KP here. Don't expect him to do a whole heck of a lot, though.
Yep, so just early start here. I do think that Shadow's going to be in a pretty good position. He's going to have a lot of roaming coming in from Ice, who has actually gone for the Tree Dance. Despite its nerf to the Primal Spring level 1, it's still going to be a preference for Ice here. However, an Observer Ward is already scouting out his position. So while they are smoking around, I'm not sure how they're going to be able to get the stun out. But if they get any instance of damage on him, that is going to be one dead monkey. So they have great intel into his position, but he just keeps on leaping, keeps on bouncing. He's going to look for most likely a courier snipe early on, and then just a lot of poking harassment at the Invoker.
And SC will be able to get the D ward because they had that vision, and now KP coming in to contest this rune as well, maybe in some trouble. Why? He ended up skilling up Leech Seed level 1, so trading hits, but soon to go down, and the Burrow Strike comes out. Faith Blood is going to be drawn by Faith.
Alright, so cleaning it up, grabbing his rune, taking him down. That's going to be a very nice momentum swing for NewBee to start things off. Already a 700 gold advantage from the 0 second, essentially. So boots up on the Batrider to start things off. Faith helping out in this off lane. Going to be really good at suppressing this Spectre. I actually think Blink's going to have a really hard time here.
Oh. The plus side that you do have here for Team Random is that it's going to be a hard lane for SC, as they will pull the Monkey King over, but with the tri-lane, it means it's one-on-one against TA, and again, that's not a great matchup for Invoker by any means. So we'll have to watch how that goes.
Shadow's definitely going to have the upper hand for a while here. I might adjust as the levels even out, but at least for now, the biggest thing that Team Random can do is get Spectre to the side shop, get her a magic stick. But they're actually going to go in for some good damage here. Can't get into range for the Leech Seed just yet, but they have 2 Orb of Venoms. They really want to use them here. Just keep wailing away. No passive from the Monkey King, but still putting a lot of good damage into KP and getting that magic stick secured. That's actually so important. I cannot understate how important it is just to get to the side shop to get that magic stick as soon as possible in this landing configuration.
Yeah, and it means that they've got that sustain that you might not otherwise have. They don't have a ton of regen here. A couple Souths, particularly Y, who's completely gone out of it. And with the Shrine Nest now used, NewBee locked and loaded to go for round 2.
SCC is going to be going for Exort Wex, going to be going for the Alacrity. This will help him out a little bit in the early CS, but Shadow, once he gets his bottle, should still be able to do more in terms of just using his Refraction and Side Blades to really start owning up this Invoker. In the meantime, though, it's going to be mostly action up top and just this back and forth trying to control the lane against the Spectre.
Yeah, they did pop Metamorphosis in the bottom lane, and U9 able to dominate the CS against the Night Stalker one-on-one. So that's going to be a continued battle that occurs. Meanwhile, Blink, they have a double stack over to the side here. And looks like this is still going to be a wave that's pushing in pretty heavily. Blink needs to make sure he doesn't overstep his bounds against KP. Ooh, Kaka going over for Shadow, though. Refraction wearing off, and Shadow forced to back out. Denied access to a shrine.
Yeah, still going to get the bottle, no chance of it being sniped. So in the end, he's going to be in pretty good position, just shrining up and restoring himself from there. The 4-minute rune should be his pretty easily. And I think he's going to be very confident in this lane. He's already topping CS, but I think he's going to be able to edge out this Evoker very quickly now that he has that key item in the bottle.
Yeah. And meanwhile, up top, still no great action coming about yet from Team Random. Who do they want to go on, or do Team Random even want to try and find an initiation on anybody from NewBee?
It's more just when they see an opening, they have to just kind of be patient about it. If the status quo remains, Blink just gets farm, and that's great because you have a Spectre on your team. But if it gets too pushed up and you see like this little caustic action, you look to punish it. So we'll see if Trian can get a little bit closer. But in the meantime, KP sees Ice, and while the Primal Spring or the Tree Dance will keep him away so that he cannot break down the tree line, it is going to be them trying to do something about the aggression up top.
Yeah, and they're going on KP. The bash connects, and now they've got the leech seed as well. The stun's coming. It's a two-person stun with the land, and Faith able to body block to keep his Bat Rider alive.
Yeah, everybody's got Magic Stick charges, though, so really there's minimal damage coming in against the Team Random here. Only the Treant is really lacking it, and they drop down a sentry where they see the movement of Y here, which is all well and good, but at the same time, I do feel like they're not getting the aggression, and they're not getting the pressure that they were hoping for. In fact, losing out the Observer and the Sentry here, and now just exposing themselves. That actually could have been very dangerous.
Well, all of the sentries are now gone from this lane, I do believe. And that is going to mean that you have probably to the favor of Team Random. The big problem is that it's still Spectre behind in CS. Like, you take a look at the Terrorblade, 22-7 so far, and while Faith Beyond has gotten a good amount for himself as well, it's Spectre that really does need to get those items eventually.
Yeah, Bat Rider has done all right to this point, 19-4. Got his Sprinkle Boots and his Magic Stick, which is his bread and butter. But yeah, I do also feel like they were hoping for more. They are technically ahead right now, but they definitely wanted more out of this laning stage. They are looking for kills. They're actually looking for momentum rather than just kind of breaking even or pulling a little bit ahead.
And Faith cliff jungling a little bit here by the Shrine as well, realizes that with this creep wave pushed in, KP should be getting all of this experience free to himself. It has also been Sand King that made the rotation around towards bottom, but it's also nighttime, and Faith Beyond has level 4. This is prime killing time for SC, and yeah, the ping comes out. They know exactly what's going on over here, and that should not be a dead SC, I do not believe.
Yeah, 2 really good Observer wards in place, so just going to be able to kind of keep doing his thing here. There's no real way they can dive him. The NewBee rotations would just make it so easy for them to punish them under tower. So we're just going to see a lot of
KP, top lane, overextends and they punish. A lot of damage being dealt by KP there, but still able to find the kill nonetheless.
Yeah, just really, really strong movement. Orb of Venom, Leech Seed, and Void. All of these allow you to stay on your target really effectively. U9's going to pop his Metamorphosis down bottom, try to punish that rotation by taking this tower. Does not have as much armor as it used to, thanks to the fact that only U9 is in position here. But yeah, it is going to be the Glyph. They're going to try to get back here and try to keep this tower alive, but it's a tall order.
Yeah, they let it take a ton of damage before they actually made that rotation. The plus side is they do have this Treant Protector that can continue to spam out his living armor, but meanwhile, KP in some trouble. They thought about going for it, and now with Sand King coming in, actually they need to be a little bit careful there. Ice, he's going to be controlled and potentially going to be brought down as well. 10 sick charges, but still cannot make his way out, and Faith Beyond will be able to make the escape.
Yeah, so knew he was dead in the water, didn't want to waste those sticks while he was there, but now the entire living armor has been chewed through by U9, and a rotation is actually going to be from the Monkey King. Primal Spring ready to go. Can they get a TP onto the Shrine? Doesn't look like it. U9 still just going to kind of be able to waltz himself away.
Nicely done. And that's going to keep this offlane tower alive a little bit longer for Team Random. They probably need to get some more points up in this living armor for the tree, and that's why he's staying down here to soak up experience. And also, they need to get levels up on Ice. I feel like the supports are definitely hurting a little bit. Not quite as bad as Faith is, but it's not been easy.
Yeah, but I mean, you look at the other side. Yeah, the Faith Rubik has been stuck to the lane the entire time. He's done a little bit of jungling, but for the most part, has been glued to a tri-lane that's just not going to be functional. So, yeah, I think that actually the experience on the other side are going to be that much worse. Kaka hasn't had much time to jungle, so between the two of them, they're actually lower.
Oh, dive in on SC. He drops the Meteor. Not going to be enough. They are coming in with KP, though. The pushback. Shadow taking a lot of damage. He doesn't have refraction charges up, but he's just out of range. And the living armor is going to keep him alive, dropping down the TA trap as well to make sure that he's able to walk away. But is it going to be enough? They are going to be able to kill off the TA and even pulling Spectre down to the low ground. Ice is still here. The Boundless Strike off cooldown 3, but they can't punish KP.
Yeah, pretty even exchange, all said and done, losing the Invoker for the TA. We're going to see a refill at the Shrine here for the Dire side, so they'll kind of get back into it pretty quickly. But the Spectre is actually far from home, so she's going to be, I guess, just rotating here and taking the easy CS bottom while she can. That living armor continues to accumulate, and I do think that they're actually going to be able to keep all 3 of their tier 1s up for a pretty extended part of the game.
Yeah, you need to keep the spam going from the tree, but level 2 up in it, almost going to have level 3. It is going to be Kaka as well as U9 rotating down here. 2 points up in Burrow. It looks like they want to try and make a concerted effort towards taking down this towers, and there's the Metamorphosis. Oh, it's a lot of damage being dealt. They are going to end up losing it, but it looks like they might be able to make something happen on U9 as well. The Primal Spring goes forward, the jump away into the trees, and it looks like Y is going to fall. Not able to find anything as they lose their tower as well.
Very unfortunate. They just undercommitted there. I mean, the Night Stalker didn't have a TP, nor is it nighttime, so a bad time for him to be involved in this, and they just couldn't. I mean, if there was just a little bit less pressure from NewBee, that tier 1 would be fine, and they'd be able to kind of, you know, be able to build up off of that because they have enough HP for it to hold up. But instead, U9 takes that one down and makes its way right over to mid lane. The Ford Spirit and the Metamorphosis still in play to try to bring this one down as well.
They're going to take a good bit of damage onto it first. They still do have that living armor available, but they need to make a move. And unfortunately, Kaka is here to be that sort of combo breaker through all of this. They just don't have the levels up yet to take a fight. The pre-level 6 fighting power of NewBee is stronger than the pre-level 6 fighting power of Team Random right now.
At least with the Metamorphosis, now that that's gone, they might try to go for it. They're going to get the double Burrow Strike on against an Invis target.
All right.
It might be still enough for them to go and crush with the Parablade back.
Haunt comes out now. They're on top of them. There's the jump forward. The tower is gone, though. So NewBee take what they came for, and, well, Sand King's just going to Burrow Strike away. The Meatball is going to drop down, almost able to take down Faith Beyond. They kill off the Monkey King as well. NewBee with 2 kills, and Team Random had overextended. Oh, man.
And they're trying to play to the strength of Treant Protector. It's completely understandable that they'd want to try to keep on holding these because Y, with that max living armor, is looking to just continue to build them up and to eliminate one of the key factors in the NewBee draft, which is the early tower pressure. But unfortunately, just they're committing when they don't have the ability to do so. It just is NewBee that's way too far ahead right now in terms of their early fight potential, as you called it, and it's just going to get uglier from here. We're going to see Faith just move in with the Tome of Knowledge to level 6 very quickly, and the Midas build up on the Invoker to keep his fighting potential very high up. That Meteor was really solid, and I expect to see a lot more of those this game.
Totally. Yeah, so those 6s, they're coming up now in a little while, which might be another way for them to fight. I guess it's not the end of the world, though, if you end up losing a couple of towers, particularly tiers 1s, when you have, oh god, though, Shadow. He's going to be found. They pull him into a Sunstrike. He is Burrow struck as well, and gets the no refraction charges off. He's just gone. Blink Dagger reveal on a good target.
Really good opening there. In fact, they're even going to see the Monkey King here. Going to be very difficult to get out of this one. In fact, it's just made another kill. Not even close. No chance at all. So yeah, just 2 quick freebies, and this is going to allow NewBee just to continue to build momentum. I mean, it seems like so little just to lose 1 or 2 towers, but you lose the ability to come to these fights and become the allies.
And now they pop the Metamorphosis to bring down Blink. The Spectre drops as well. Team Random have lost all of their heroes over the past just 3 minutes, roughly.
Yeah, and it's just the Batrider gets to play around so much more actively on the map when there aren't towers to worry about. So Terrorblade knocks the towers down, Batrider goes behind where they stood, and is just able to completely dominate the map. I mean, finally, Faith Beyond gets his darkness up, tries to at least make NewBee a little bit more concerned about their aggression, but at the end of the day, Team Random just don't have an answer right now. They will be able to build it up over the next several minutes, but in that time, we're seeing NewBee continue to pull forward with Blink Daggers, with more damage output, just across the board, they're stronger.
All right, this could be a nice play right here, though. SC is getting wrapped around upon. There's Faith Beyond as well as Shadow with an Invis Rune, and you have Haunt available. I'm pretty sure they bring everybody to this just to make sure they get the kill. And immediately, jump on SC, finds the kill, back out.
Very clean, very nice. Up top, they're still looking at U9, who is actually pushing with his illusions, and they know it. They know which one's the real one now, so they're going to be able to keep on top of them. Dagger coming up in just a few moments here, and unable to TP away.
Oh my god, Ice!
Try to use it.
They get the Sunder, turning it onto Faith Beyond. They're controlling him though, and now they have that Boundless Strike forward, trying to bring down U9. Still so tanky in this engagement, but he can't kill off anybody, it looks like, as they are going to be able to find that kill at the end of the day. Ice pops the smoke to make the escape. Sunstrike. Oh my god. Ooh, SC.
Very close call. The Batrider still wants it, but he's staying smoked. He's staying away. Okay, he's walking right in 3.
Shadow, they end up killing off Ice. He walks into hell, and Shadow turning to fight, but is he going to be able to make the escape? The answer is no.
Yeah, I think that was a big mistake going in from Ice. He just didn't really realize the pathing that he was taking, and ends up just feeding away a kill that they fought so hard to avoid. But in the end, they also are losing that Templar Assassin, and despite 2 really key kills in the Invoker and the Terrorblade, it just feels like they're still so far behind.
And the build from SC as well, it's not oriented towards the late game. He's going Midas into Drum, so this is going to be all about helping that Terrorblade tear down these towers. And you can see Team Random, they want to stop the pressure from coming in, a takedown and get the D ward, but now with the Sunstrike coming in, Ice is gone. Now can they find anything else? Tree Dance from Faith is going to keep him alive. Kaka is there, getting the stun out. They do have an Overgrowth as well if they want to use it, and might think about it now, but U9 coming in as well. They are going to need to pop it, but no, actually just going to run away from it for the moment. Why? Barely trying to get out, but not going to be able to make it happen. Faith still low as well, but looks like he is going to live through the Urn Ticks. 22 HP for him, and with the taunting TP, Faith not able to get taken down by Faith Beyond.
And that's just really tough here. Another thing that's eluding them quite a bit is Kaka just using level 1 Sandstorm to really pull himself out of a tough spot. The Central Ward did not come out there, and despite being exposed, the Sand King just wasn't the target that they could stick onto. So overall kills racking up for NewBee, 13-5 now. Faith having some fun with this Tree Dance, just jumping around the map. But I really feel like Team Random are just going to try to keep getting protection around the Spectre, try to keep on providing Link the places to farm with gold to make, and try to move towards that Radiance as fast as possible. It's really their only way back into this game is a big item pickup on Spectre sooner rather than later.
And Kaka right there, you know, they almost caught him before he got his Blink Dagger, but he was able to burrow strike to the low ground, and they just don't have that chase. The stuns are not there. Like, the only stun that they have that's non-ulti is Ice's Boundless Strike. You have the Void, which is the most ineffectual stun ever. But yeah, it's just not really what they need at this point in time. I don't know. Is it just try and find the Radiance by virtue of farming, or do you have to find pickoffs to make that happen? They're still not getting towers consistently with Metamorphosis, which is something.
I feel if they had better map control and they were not up against 2 Blink Daggers, that it would be realistic to try to go for picks, but right now it just hit daytime. They've got up against a now nearly maxed out Sunstrike. They've got dual Blink counter initiation. It just feels so risky to go for that play. I think you just continue to play the defensive game and just try to get it only through PvE, through creeps, because taking it through kills just seems way too difficult right now.
Okay. And Spectre does have the living armor as well to catch him out in case there is a gank attempt. Also going to be able to trade out this tier 1 tower maybe for the tier 2 in the top lane. And they will still have Haunt available if there is a movement for high ground by NewBee.
At this rate, though, they might be able to take the tier 2 before the tier 1 bottom falls, and that's going to be very problematic, where they just continue to lose space and could pretty much lose all security that their jungle once presented, and they still don't get much in exchange.
And we'll see if the glyph comes here. It is going to, as well as a living armor to try and keep this alive. But again, it's not really a great possibility here for any type of reaction from Team Random, who are banking all their hopes and dreams on Blink, building towards that Radiance.
They've just got to draw the line at high ground. Like, anything outside of the tier 3s is something that they just have to be willing to sacrifice at this point in time, because it's just unrealistic for them to do much more than that in terms of the real fight. I mean, once nighttime hits again, maybe you venture around with a couple of heroes. You try to get a Haunt pick off, and you just kind of go back from there. But right now, like, just even seeing a bunch of heroes missing off the map, you have to be very wary of the Spectre. But it looks like it's just going to be a Roshan play. They are going to kind of scout it out with the Night Stalker, and then realize there's really nothing they can do.
Now, maybe a Haunt steal? Is that too bold? It probably is.
Definitely, yeah. You save the cooldown for sure.
They're thinking about it. They pull it back in. The Haunt comes out. U9 has already got the Aegis though, and now they get the huge reflection. Phaethon trying to run out of there. It does get a pretty good ulti out from Ice, bringing U9 low, but he is not going to burn through that Aegis right there. That would have been a huge play if they could have made it happen.
Sure. I mean, I can definitely understand them not just wanting to wait to die. With a Terrorblade that picks up an Aegis, he's able to just break down the tier 3 without even really heading to the high ground at all, thanks to the Dragonlance. So it's very difficult to really punish that. So they realize that if they don't stop that Aegis from happening, then their tier 3 tower is almost guaranteed dead. And that's a tough spot to be in. But I think that's just the reality here. They still have to wait for Blink to finish the Radiance. Haunt is on cooldown for quite some time, so that looks to be a free opportunity for NewBee, as we've seen Night Stalker actually get picked off by that dual Blink initiation. But I feel like at this point it's going to be pretty clearly NewBee grouping together, grabbing the tier 2, and poking at the high ground as well.
And Spectre thinking about testing that Invoker, but as soon as Faith is shown, it's a back out and head the hell away. Faith has also stolen Living Armor now, another great spell to pick up against the Treant Protector. As now whatever little damage was being mounted onto the towers is starting to be healed back up again. So nothing going right now for Team Random, with the exception of a Midas on Night Stalker. There we go.
You'll get there eventually. Again, the timing you're looking for support Night Stalker is 28 minutes for the Aghanim Scepter. The 20-minute mark was the time that we got to see the last Night Stalker actually pick one up, which was pretty absurd. But I think Faith Beyond with this Midas timing still might be able to get close to that benchmark. So they actually go for a smoke themselves. They have Blink a bit up on the front line, but they have to be careful fighting into this Aegis.
Yeah. There's Haunt up in 18 seconds as well. So, this is a very bold move. They're walking into everybody. Haunt still 9 seconds away. They drop down a ward. They have vision in the area. KP, the one that gets jumped on right at the start, but they don't have any control for him. Now they need to be careful and back out of here before somebody ends up getting taken down. They immediately deward all that vision. Also, NewBee, they are going to end up taking the tier 2 tower and backing. Random not willing to go in yet, and Burrow Strike a little bit off the mark for Blink to slow him down so that way they can't get in. Faith Beyond gets the silence. There's a Boundless Strike as well. Kaka's gone. Okay, Haunt. This could be what they're looking for, but the meatball has already been dropped. Chaos Aubrey now down as well. U9 has popped his ultimate. There's a Monkey King. He's healing himself on the ground, and U9 is actually still taking here a ton of damage. They pull Shadow back into the midst of it. Now it looks like finally Team Random are going to have to back after finding the pick onto the Sand King.
Still, I mean, they are actually able to get a kill out of that, and we're actually going to see Blink very close to this Radiance. Just has to get a couple more waves, and he will have the recipe, and that's all they need. Now it's a 100-second timer where they have the Haunt and the Radiance up, and that might be enough for them to just hold it and turn this game back around. But right now, they're just counting the seconds because U9 already breaks down the tier 2. 60 seconds on Metamorph says 100 seconds, or now 90 on Haunt. So I think time might be shifting in Team Random's favor. But we are seeing Ice trying to create some space up top, and he will be able to do so as that lasso's unavailable.
Oh my goodness. That is definitely a very close call there, with Faith coming in behind him. But yeah, making space there. And I was wondering if they instead, NewBee, were going to go down and try and catch the Spectre, because they did have that ward vision given when they got the D ward. So they instead decided to go for the Monkey King, a little bit harder of a kill. And with that pause, we'll be holding on for a moment as Radiance is done. You said that this is what they need to turn this game back around. What does that team fight look like, though? Is it Spectre just going in for the immediate Haunt and then jumping onto the Batrider, or do you try and take down the Rubik at the start of the fight? Where's your target prioritization look at?
So it really comes down to what Shadow wants to kill. The biggest thing is that if you Haunt early in the fight, these Blink Daggers aren't as useful, specifically on the Sand King. Sand King has no way to deal with a Spectre Radiance Haunt on top of him in terms of stopping his Blink Dagger from going on cooldown. So you pretty much erase that Blink Dagger from Sand King's inventory whenever you're using Haunt early in the fight, and that means Epicenter is almost impossible to get off in this context. So you're looking for Darkness to give you the vision advantage. You're looking for the Haunt to suppress the Blink Daggers, and then you just have Shadow jump on a single target, and you know, he has the pick of the litter. He can maybe drop the Invoker. We saw the Sand King drop very quickly last game, or last fight. So yeah, like he just pretty much has to find the most exposed target that the Night Stalker can follow up on, and those two should be able to just take one at the beginning of the fight. So this really is a great time to pause, because it is literally the turning point theoretically. Now, obviously, NewBee could still, they have a huge advantage. They could just be on a tear. They could take Roche number 2 to Barracks and win the game outright. But if Team Random are coming back into this game, it starts here. It starts now.
We'll watch and see if they're able to make it happen, build some momentum for themselves. Still 50 seconds away from having that Haunt done. It's also probably pretty evident to NewBee that the Radiance should be up now for Spectre 22 minutes into the game. So they'll probably be playing around this too. If that's the case and you're trying to play around the Spectre Haunt, do you just immediately go right now since you still have the Aegis on Terrorblade?
Yeah, I mean, obviously you're waiting for that Metamorphosis to wear down, but that is 10 seconds, and then he's going to be in a great position just to poke at the tier 3 here. So trying to get a good eye on things. If the Haunt comes out, you have to immediately back, but if you can do so, finding the
what? They caught him, Blink! Just walked into death, and now 50 seconds with no Radiance, no Spectre, no nothing.
I don't even know how they saw him, but they take him down. Like, that is such critical pickoff. That might just be the mid-racks right there.
All right, NewBee in a great position. They've got Alacrity on U9. There is going to be a Glyph and also Living Armor there, but Random are going to have to do some heavy lifting, and now Faithion just going to be pulled back in. The Burrow Strike is there. Oh, no, 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 no. U9 going to take down this tower like it's nobody's business, and though the Monkey King ultimate is there, is it really stopping any of this? Still 10 seconds for Spectre. U9's Metamorphosis is going to start to wear down. The Aegis is down as well. I think NewBee need to be at least a little bit careful here.
Yeah, there's no glyphs, so they just want to take the melee racks and back. Spectre is back up, but can they get any control? Can they lock them down at all? They're going in.
There's the Overgrowth, trying to find it now. The Haunt could come out in just a second. Where is it? But Rubik, he's still in Overgrowth. There's going to be the Epicenter. Cancel that at least a little bit. The Blink Dagger, but can't still Burrow Strike Shadow. He is going to drop. Spectre doing his best in this one, but wasn't even able to kill off KP, and now you're in a terrible position. The Sunstrike a little bit off the mark. The Overgrowth comes out from the Rubik, turned against his own team, and now the Sunder is going to keep alive U9 a little bit longer. There's just far too much damage, and the Radiance reflected back onto Blink. He can't do a damn thing. Now they pull back in Faith beyond this Night Stalker, who's been trying to give them the vision they need. The Burrow Strike onto 2. They're all dying. 3 dead, no buyback. And still, NewBee stand tall, not a hero dead. They pull back in Blink. He had just died before, gets caught and killed again. The Tornado pulls in Ice, and that is game.
It was so close for them to actually be able to take this fight, but you can tell, like, you see them dropping down to like a 200 HP each, and still perfect positioning from NewBee, staggering out their positioning, able to survive through everything that Team Random could throw at that moment, and it was the tipping point. That pickoff on the high ground, I'm going to go back and watch that replay. I don't even know how they found him. I don't know if they saw like a dagger come out and like, okay, I think that this is a good jump. Like, that was amazing. Obviously, you have to look at the fact that even if there wasn't a hero there, that there wouldn't be much repercussion. There's like a Boundless Strike, maybe a Leech Seed or a Void, but like in general, the Batrider should be able to escape even if that is a misstep, but he just goes in. Nighttime doesn't matter. Lack of vision doesn't matter. He goes, he finds the Spectre, and that opens up everything. That opens up the free tier 3, almost all the melee racks before he's even back alive. And after that, like, they were just scrambling. This was the tipping point. This was just too much momentum from NewBee, and that puts them in the driver's seat for this game.
Well, that's going to do it here, and NewBee are the ones that end up winning with a 2-0 score, and Team Random are going to be dropped down. I believe, does that mean that it's the sort of the third level? Is that correct as far as where their placement is? I think that it's low down there.
Yeah, so in this position, we did see that NewBee was 1-2 going into this, so now they're 2-2, whereas unfortunately for Team Random, they are now 1-3. So in the same spot that Vici J Mousesports ended up being in after the match we just cast. So having lost to Virtus Pro, OG, and now NewBee, they're actually going to be in like the fourth out of 5 different seeding divisions. So really far down there, going to go up against some really tough opponents. Anybody that's in the second tier for seeding, and that means that Kiev Major just got a lot harder for them. So NewBee going to be able to at least ride a high as far as taking a very key victory, as well as an easier matchup going into the main event.
Well, that's going to do it, and we'll see if they're going to be able to continue this streak, maybe building back a little bit of momentum after their less than stellar day number 1. Blaze, we're finishing off here. Any final words since our casting is done for this group stages now?
I mean, it was an absolute pleasure to cast this one with you, man. I mean, this was some incredible Dota for both sides. We got to see the meta shift before our eyes to really change the tempo of all the games that we're going to be seeing throughout the main bracket, I think. I mean, we have a lot of teams with a lot of potential, but there's also so much improvement to be made as well. Like, it's so exciting to see these teams play at such a level where they can make the impossible work, but at the same time, there are some very fixable errors that we're going to be seeing them improve on over the next few days, the weeks, and into TI as well. So this is just going to be setting the tone for a great stage, for a great main event, and a great season of Dota 2. So pleasure to cast with you, man. It's been a lot of fun.
Absolutely, same. And when you said TI there, I got a little bit of shivers. I got a little bit of excitement because it's coming up soon. These teams vying for the international again for the TI7. I'm really excited to see what happens at the Kiev Major, the main event continuing in just a couple of days. Still more action coming in from the group stages as well on all the other channels, Dota Major as well as Dota Major 2. Blaze, again, thank you so much for casting with me throughout these days. It's been a hell of a lot of fun. If you guys enjoyed our casting, give us a shout out over on Twitter at Lyrical Dota, at Blaze Casting. They're all in the description and everywhere else, I'm sure. See you guys later for more from the Kiev